So I came across a relatively hot take a little while ago, and I thought it pretty well encapsulated a lot of what you see from modern day games activists. It is exactly what I would expect these people to say in a private room, not publicly for everyone to see. But in this case, this paid game reviewer had a very spicy hot take. Now, before I go over it, let me be very clear. It is my opinion that this person just wants attention. So I want to discuss the idea, but not the person in general. Also, please don't contact this person because that is, in my opinion, what they want. See, there is this trend of woke games activists that often say something heinous online and then, like clockwork, turn around and act like a victim. They feel like they can't be held accountable for some of the disgusting things they say, that they are above that they are a protected class for whatever reason it is. Well, let me assure you, they are not. Their ideas are not. And so let's look at this idea and discuss it together. That is, of course, the problem with white editors in games journalism. That's right. I want to look at this tweet that said, honestly, games journalism needs to ditch the white dude editors. Like, I'm sorry, but you're too timid for this industry to continue to grow. Time to step aside, boys. You're all adults, but so many of you act like you're still scared of dad coming home. And really, it's far too late for you to change and let writers do what we need to be doing. So this person, a paid game critic, a writer, believes they have the answer. And you know what? I think I agree. And like clockwork, you can see, of course, they use the reaction to their heinous things. Man, gamers sure got cranky about these tweets. Well, can we... I know how you all know how this will end up, but let's do a little experiment. I'm going to say a few things, and if you think they're over the line, like this video. If you think they're totally okay, you can dislike this video, and we'll use that ratio as a litmus test for games journalists to understand. Again, honestly, games journalism needs to ditch the white chick editors. Like, I'm sorry, but you're too timid for this industry to continue to grow. Time to step aside, girls. Again, if you think that statement sounds messed up, then I would say we're probably in agreement, right? That if you change one word of that sentence, all of a sudden this person is fired, ostracized from the community. But the commonly accepted literal whipping boy is the white male. This is objectively provable based on what many verified blue check marks on Twitter say every single day, with no consequence, no public outcry, for reasons. But I actually started to think about this. It's an interesting concept. Replacing every games activist editor with, I assume, what, a female POC? Okay, let's explore that. So we get rid of all these young soy-infused beta males from their editor positions in games journalism, and what? What exactly changes? Nothing. The idea that the person's genitals or the color of their skin is some sort of predisposition to the quality of work they do is not only some of the lowest level thinking anyone can have, but it's also illegal. You cannot hire based on these characteristics, at least not in the United States or any Western country that I can think of. Yet these ideas are allowed to permeate. This retweet had several hundred favorites, several retweets, with nobody really calling it what it is, and that is that it was a racist and a sexist comment. It is a comment that is often used against men in the gaming community. It receives many different forms. We're often called toxic. We're often called entitled, as a way to group us together and demean us. It has nothing to do with individual actions. It is a low IQ argument. If you magically replace all the soy-infused beta male editors in the games activism scene, I, for one, am a huge fan of that. I don't really see any negative. Do you? I'm curious. Because the games activism scene is already a complete joke for anybody who is in the know, who actually plays video games, who actually knows people who play video games, right? So they literally have nothing to lose. And we would have even more to point and laugh at, because the presumption is that you would be replacing these people with people who are not qualified for that position. You would be replacing them with people based on the color of their skin or their genitals. And that would somehow change the face of games activism as we know it. Well, I see this as a win-win situation. And one of my Twitter followers, and I assume viewers of the channel, shared the same opinion. I didn't think of it at first, but she's absolutely right. I'm on the train. Worst case, we get rid of all these soy-infused editors in games activism. Best case, we actually get good reporting. What could go wrong? Now, just last week, we saw 1,000 op-ed writers, I'm not calling them reporters, 1,000 op-ed writers terminated from their positions because nobody really wants to hear people's opinions, apparently their opinions. Places like BuzzFeed, Huffington Post. Games activism is, of course, the next big industry to fall. A lot of people that used to work in these fields, or a lot of people that went to school for these things, can't actually get work at places like BuzzFeed where they actually want to work. Okay, so they get into games activism. And that's why so many of their articles have this slant to them. What they really want to write about is what they learned in their gender studies class or their slacktivism course 101 at the public college. That's what they really want to do. The problem is there's no money in that. And they can't afford to buy their $7 Mocha Joca bullshit lattes without a job. And of course, these people also desperately crave that blue check mark on Twitter. So becoming a games activist is their best choice, is the best avenue they have. A lot of people ask, how do all these people end up in video games? They clearly don't like video games, right? I mean, I don't think anyone would refute that. You can look at the level of quality of work that they do. Look at a place like IGN reviewing video games without even playing them, getting caught plagiarizing. Look at places like Polygon or Kotaku. The only reason we really know about them is for their articles and their stink pieces attacking the gaming community. These writers are activists, slacktivists, really. They're not out there on the front lines. I mean, come on. It gets cold and sometimes it rains. They're using video games to push their ideology, to do what they really want to do, and that is lord over some unearned sense of superiority. some unearned moral high ground that they perceive that they have. So I, for one, agree with this take. Let's get rid of all these white dude editors. Because, again, this to me is a clear win-win situation for the gaming community. What's there now isn't any good. So perhaps either we end up with a hilarious double train wreck, or it actually gets better. So, great idea. Hopefully these white dudes can find a job somewhere else. I'm not sure they're going to have a lot of luck out there. Interest in SJW opinion pieces is at an all-time low. But McDonald's is hiring. Amazon is hiring. I'm sure they'll find work somewhere. Good luck out there.